Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session on how to build a report you can rely on. I am Daina, and thank you, Evita, for introducing me. I'm working for eazyBI for 8 years now. 6 of those years I was in support team, and the last 2 years I'm a developer and working mostly on import side. And from time to time, I still step in my support shoes, as I can tell, and this topic still is close to my heart. So I didn't do any changes, and the report doesn't work anymore. From time to time, we receive in support this type of questions, and typically we suggest to do some steps, how they can check, how the report is built, what actually they should check, what should be done. However, it is not a good place to be on, that you at some point on the time realize that there is something not happening as you would like to have it. So, and therefore, my inspiration for this was that I would like to talk on how to build reports so that you do not get to this question whatsoever. So, quickly, I will cap up what can go wrong over the time. Then I will go more in depth on report context, what you are using for your reports, and then how the report itself is built. And then step in behind the scenes as well. So what can go wrong? There are many changes actually that goes over the time because you change, data change, and maybe other users are coming in and they don't know the status, what's happening. Some Jira processes change, so everything can change. And the first thing, there are two parts you would like to check. The first is data, and the second is report itself. And data synchronization is the first important thing. eazyBI works on imported data. The data you have, is it synchronized or not? And you would like to make sure that actually imports are working. And for the latest versions, we added more indications so that every user can actually check if the latest import was successful or not. For example, in Jira gadgets or in Confluence gadgets or in our dashboards, you can see this red clock and check the last import status. The same when you open the report, if you see the red clock, you can see that maybe import is failed. However, we also suggest to check import options as well, source data screen. As for example, if I have 2 imports in the one account, and if the latest one, for example, this REST IP is successful, actually it will be showed as successful imports. However, the Jira import failed before that, and it is the main import you would like actually to be successful. So another case sometimes is that there could be some inconsistencies in data. And sometimes it could be when another instance is writing into your productional instance. And it could be in case when Jira is cloned, and eazyBI is also included in this clone process, and eazyBI in the cloned or test instance is still running, and it runs on productional data. And it makes havoc on productional data. And typically it occurs that if you run full import in eazyBI, it works. Then regular imports might somehow do instant. Please check if the cloned instance also have either is disabled or uses a dedicated database. Then, of course, there is data consistency and quality itself. And there could be cases when data changes, Jira changes, processes changes, people change. And it's a topic itself. I will not go there. Stefan from yesterday did get ideas on how you can check this. So I will go deeper in report contexts, and mainly we will check how you would like to use your measures in your reports, and actually how you would like to validate them if they're working as needed. And then structure as well. eazyBI is flexible and you can build the same report in different ways. Let's see how it works. So, report context. Let's start with very simple report. This report shows is gauge chart representing, and it visually represents how many issues are a result of created ones. And it's very great report. It just shows the status of all your data, and you can select it by projects, by issue, by priorities. However, if you add a time dimension, the report might not work as you expect. And it could be similar like to comparing how many apples of bananas. It is not comparable. And there is why. Let's see the same for one particular date, where are 3 issues resolved and 3 created. And actually, there are 6 issues involved in this. 3 are created and 3 are resolved, and they are different issues. And in eazyBI, the time dimension is one of the most important. And any time you are using time dimension in the report, you would like to understand how measures will work, because there are different measures, many measures by default we are importing, and one of the main differences between them is how they are using with time dimension. And we put this information in our documentation. Here are 2 snippets from documentation, and you can always check how the time dimension is used for specific metrics. So then there is another example report with sprints and story points. And it shows that there is one user, Sandra, and she completed quite a lot more story points than it was actually committed for. And so she overcommitted and actually sprint itself over-completed. Or is it so? Sorry. Yeah, here it is. I picked also 3 issues, and actually both of them are committed to the sprint and completed. However, they were committed for, one of them were committed for Sandra, another one was committed for David, and then the third one was committed just a sprint with no assignee whatsoever. So when you compare this data, sprint story points committed and completed, you should be aware of all the dimensions or what is used in the report. Those are historical measures, and they represent data at the specific time of activity. What was assignee, what was issue type at the point when sprint was started, and what is assignee or issue type or priority or whatsoever at the point when sprint completed. And sometimes you might maybe it's a valid one, and you would like to expect that one particular user should have completed the same as what committed for him or her. But in some cases, the process itself is that you would like to understand how much committed points are altogether to the sprint, and then see how many are completed by specific users. And then you might not compare them with this kind of report when you use assignee that will import changes over the time. So let's, for another user, this is David for the same sprint, and Sandra picked up one of his stories. And as I say, I can see that David is selected for the report, and I still see the issue that is one where actually Sandra is an assignee. And why I should see this issue? It's not related to David. Actually, it was related to the David because it was committed to him. So therefore, eazyBI will pick this issue up for David if it's not relevant anymore for now. And I also added 2 more measures here. We started with sprint story points committed and completed. I also had the story points resolved and issue story points. As you can see that story points resolved represent values for David as they are currently for David. And issue story points just show the values as they are on issues. They still show values for David, even the issue is not related to David anymore. So properties like issue story points or issue assignee represent current value on the issue, and they will show up anywhere you put this issue. If you put the issue on the report, it will show up because it's issue. However, measures and issue story points do not sum up data. You do not see any values for all issues. You do not see any values for project level. However, those metrics like sprint story points committed, complete, and story points resolved, they automatically sum up values for all issues. And I would suggest that you create, even you do not need the report on issues or on all issues, you might want to check how the report works on issue level and both on summary levels as well, so that you can see if you will have values when you put it on any general report. Or if you drill through issue, it will show, as you can see here, on issue level. Here I'm using the same issue that was passed from David to Sandra, and there is a different perspective how I would like to suggest that you are testing your measures or metrics. Is that you are putting, I would suggest to put one particular issue you know, and it should be quite real issue with different changes over the time, and you put it on pages as one selection, and then you can add several dimensions on rows, what you would like to see, and on the lowest level, for example, days. And this will indicate that and it will, as you can see, my measures show values, different values on different cells, and they are either related to, in this case, to time or to assignee, and actually either to sprint as well. And as you can see, my story points show the same value for issue story points, show the same value for all the rows on the same column. And story point history changes over the values based on those selections. And as you can see, my measure sprint story points committed of commitment completion doesn't shows 0%, as there is no value on the same row where commitment value is on lower low than committed value. They are not on the same row. eazyBI runs any calculation on the particular rows. If you have value on the row for this testing report, you will have results. You would like to get those, during the testing phase of any measures, you would like to get all the values you would like to include in your calculation on the same row, on the level you would like your report to work, on the lowest level of the member, for example, days, not weeks, not years. It will work for years, not work for days. So, 3 things to remember, just only 3 things. Choose measures wisely, it's a separate topic itself, and then test with smallest units and test with higher level units like all members. So let's move on to report structure. Sorry. Here I have once again sprint report, and let's see how it works. It's show last 5 sprints, and we show it here like last 5 sprints. However, I completed 1 sprint, and now I will import the data for just to see the sprint in the report. Sorry. Here I'm refreshing the import, and voila, I see that there is no latest sprint, but I see that the new sprint I should have there, it is not there. And let's see what selections I have. When I expand it, actually I do not see any selections. There is no selected individuals, there are no all hierarchies, there is nothing selected there. And if I select sprints, I see it. So there is some kind of selection in the report that just doesn't work. So let's go back in time when there is only those previous sprints I used before import and see how I build this report at the time. Here I have already those metrics there. And I have all sprints selected, it's default selection. I expand it. I would like to have it on sprint level, this report. When I remove this all sprint, actually it was removed, but I still see the boards. Why I should still see the boards? So let's select a different one. I don't need the all sprints. I will use this latest close sprints. It seems close to my expectations. I remove this calculated member name, and I'm filtering it by measures to get rid of those lines that are not related to a particular project. And I got my report. However, what went wrong? So let's check the measure, and actually it has incorrect formula a bit. It limits to some sprints to before March and before April, and it will not show values, for example, for 10th of April when I completed the sprint itself. So while you can use this kind of report, the problem is that when you open it after, I don't know, next sprint or next week, next year, you actually might not remember how you built it. And you can't have any indication, actually, what you have there. What I'd like to suggest how you build reports is that you, for example, if you would like to use this calculated member on the report, better put in is a way that you can see it. For example, put on pages as a selection and sprint on rows. So that when you open the report, you actually can see that it is selected last row sprint calculate member, and you see sprints on row. It's a visible selections you can see. And this will give you that option that even if it is failing still, you can quickly detect what is the problem with the report. So that it is sometimes a good place, yeah, I will just hide it, I will clean reports. But if you can't read the report when you open it and you need to dig in, it could take time to just get to the problems. So another option is, as I fixed the previous one, is use the sprint level because the report is on sprints. I would like to see only sprints, and let's use the level itself directly. And also, those are visible selections. eazyBI either shows it, or if you made changes to the selection, it will be disabled and you will not be able to see it. As well, for example, when I expanded all sprints and the selected sprint, I saw boards, I didn't select the selection itself. So another part is especially crucial, this kind of setup is when you are using template accounts and child accounts. Because there will be more potential changes in child accounts compared to template accounts. Even when you build it for specific selections in template account, the data in child account may be different. For example, because you have different projects there. And in this case, I have also a different report on issue level. I see one issue, it works, it seems okay. I import it in child account, and it doesn't show me anything. So, and I know for sure there are issues. I know there are issues with particular status, but I do not see them in reports. And I also, when I checked, I do not see any selections here as well. Oh, actually, I see all issue selections, but it doesn't work. And now what I'm doing, the cure for this report also is the same, use all hierarchy level members. While all hierarchy level members, it's not always the cure, as I showing you. It's what we see is that it's often neglected selection. It's quite easy to just expand something and remove, for example, all issues level or some project selections. And just when you would like to use report on issues or sprints, just select this level in the report. It will work much more consistent and reliable. So let's go behind the scene. And we will check report definition. And in support team, I think it's the most common question, send me report definition. And now I will show you why. Here is a report definition, very collapsed way. It's actually a very long one, and I collapsed it. And it could have several reports. I have only one. It shows name, where it's stored, how it should be visible. It also shows details, what is used in columns, rows, pages, what options are used, for example, totals, and how it's represented via how a view setup is configured. And it also includes calculated members with all the definitions, both report specific calculated members and shared, both predefined and user-defined calculated members. And let's go further for how this particular report I showed in the template account was actually built. If I see this dimension issue, it was used in rows. Therefore, I'm using rows selection. And I see that the selected set is all issues. And this is all I got here. I also have members selection here. Let's check this members selection. And it's also for the same dimension issue. And the member selection actually includes 3 members instead of 1. So let's dive in each of them. The first one is all issues. This is what we store for the issue. It has full name. As you can see, it has full name issue, all issues, instead of, for example, issue default member, as we often suggest to use for report. It is also defined as expanded true, and therefore we know that when you added all issues to the report, you also expanded it. The next one is, as expected, the project I have in this template account, also by full name, issue experimental. And when I saw this project, I also expanded it. It's marked by expanded true. And actually, this gives me a list of issues within this project. And when I add filter, it shows me correct values. But it doesn't show me the data. So, and the last member, I have 3 members, is demo beta. And why out of the blue there is some demo beta? There is no relation because the template action account actually doesn't have this project. Why I have it there? Because at some point during the report creation, I just removed it at some point because it was not relevant to me at the point. I just removed it. And report definition actually remembers the steps. And it's put in here with selection removed. And for example, if I import this report into child account where there is this project demo beta, even if I select the project, it will not be visible in the report because it is removed from the definition. So, and the last one was also this filter condition. I already touched a bit. It filters issues by status. And as I mentioned, issue status is property. It works for issues only. It doesn't have any values, for example, for project. It doesn't have very many values for all issues. And if you use filter, all issues that match this filter criteria, it doesn't match us in progress because there is no value. It hides this row. it doesn't have values for project, it hides the rows. And when it's hiding the row, it doesn't allow you to expand it, and therefore you do not see anything at the end of the day. And when you select issue level directly, as I showed for the report, it goes directly to issues in all the projects you have and filters it out, and you get the results of your report. So remember, report selections. While I mentioned, you can use selected members and add something special, deselect and disable, but I would suggest to considering using a specific hierarchy level if you are using data. If you would like to see data on specific level, use this level. Especially if it's different kind of hierarchies with many levels in this suggested approach. And consider using visible selections so that you, even if the report does fail, you can quickly see what might be parts that you would like to fix. And remember that eazyBI also remembers activities in your reports, and they remember by name. And if the name changes, it also could impact it. So you might want sometimes, after experimenting when creating a report, just create a new one with the final selection of the report, just get it clean or remove or clean up report definition as well. So it was very fast, I think, and thank you.